As the polar vortex sends frigid air through the U.S. this week, not only are the temperature warnings dire, the health risks of being outside in that cold are significant.
It's looking like Wednesday is going to end up being the second coldest day in the history of Chicago, at least going back to the 1870s.
In Chicago, minus 48, 10 minutes frostbite sets in. And Minneapolis at 51 below, it's 5 minutes. That's how dangerous this is.
Another factor to take in is our winters as a whole have been warmer in recent memory, right? So even though these are cold areas of the country, they're used to the cold anyway, they've not seen this kind of cold in a long time. Even if we're not talking about records, it's really been the mid-90s since they've had going back to this kind of cold. So it's just out of people's memory as far as what this kind of cold does.
According to Harvard Medical School, people are more vulnerable in the brutal cold because of the way that blood moves through their body. You know that really painful, prickly, pulsing feeling you might get in your fingers after being out in the elements for so long? That's because your body is trying to regulate your blood circulation. Blood vessels in the skin dilate and constrict, so skin temperatures rise and fall temporarily. And in plummeting temps, circulation gets prioritized to send blood to vital organs away from the skin. When fluids in and around tissue without circulation freeze, it leads to frostbite. And when it's cold enough, it can set in minutes.
Any exposed skin in those kind of temperatures, you're at the risk of frostbite just almost instantaneously, especially with that wind. And even, your normal cold weather gear, you can still feel the cold kind of coming through that even. So you want to really limit the time outside.
Research shows cold weather may raise blood pressure too. Systolic blood pressure, which is when the heart contracts to pump blood, goes up because the heart pumps faster and blood vessels tense up. And breathing cold air can be dangerous too. Right now, it's so cold, National Weather Service experts say people outside should, quote, avoid taking deep breaths and minimize talking. And during severe wind chills, we also need to be wary of our eyes. The corneas can freeze without the right protection. According to the National Weather Service, quote, this is the coldest air many of us will have ever experienced, end quote. Its advice, stay inside if you can.